Hello there, my mate Vince here, and in this video today is a quick revisit video on some big ticket items. All of these things are pretty close to £500, some of them more. I think the Dyson fan's about £350 or something. So with the air purifier here, we need to put a new Wi-Fi board in it. With the Rideable Suitcase, we need to find out why it's only charging to 50%. And with the Dyson fan, the main brain chip, the main brains of it has gone. You can't just buy that chip, and if you can, it would need to be reprogrammed for the Dyson. So in this instance here, I'm just changing out the main board in it. I know a change is not really repair, but at the end of the day, this is not working, and by putting a new board in, it is working. So it can still be classed as a repair, just a bit of a boring board change repair. But anyway, it's well worth doing, especially with the UK weather at the moment. It's very warm, so that fan is needed. Right, first up, we are going to be doing this Dyson fan here. I also need to buy a little stand for it. I have seen they're for sale on eBay for around £10 to £15. So if it's all working fine, I'll get one of them, and then this fan will hopefully go on to work for many years. So this is a replacement board I got, and it is a Dyson genuine component. It was expensive, I think it was up on £70, but the fan is still, I think it's £350 from memory. So it's well worth fixing it if you can. So I'm going to pop that in. Check, see if the remote control's working. Yeah, there you go. Can you see the little red light flashing? So I can't see that with my own eyes, or through the camera lens on my main camera, but it does through the phone. Right, let's get this back in. Hopefully this should be straightforward. Obviously I'm unplugged when I'm doing this. Now, I can't remember what you have to take off here. You don't have to undo everything from memory. No, so that's that little programming port, so we don't need to undo that for, you know, if you were to program up the chip yourself. Right, so that's loose there. Let's undo this massive one here. There we go, this is the one. So you just have to undo this middle one and the two screws that are holding the oscillating arm. Fantastic, here we go. So this is the board we need to change out. Now obviously I am unplugged at the moment. Right, that just pulls out that way, away. Now we should be able to take this out. Right, I can see that they're the same, which is great news. Right, I think that is everything back together. That's on there, screwed in, that's on, and the main's coming in. Right, so we have to line this up. Let's pop that screw out. There we go. Now, hopefully we'll be able to screw that on there. And I've got to line this up here. This is going to be a bit fiddly. Once I get one screw in, it'll be fine. I'm just going to stand up to do this, my head will be in the way. Right, I think that's it, but if it makes some funny noises when I turn it on, I'll quickly change it. Right, there we go, let's turn it on. Let's see what it's doing. I'll keep my hands away from here, I won't put the top on just yet. Now plug it in now, didn't go bang, which is good. Remote control, turn on. Oh, hold on, no, we're not plugged in down here, 1 second. Oh no, we are plugged in down there. Why are you not working? Maybe you have to have the top on for it to work. As a safety thing. Alright, now how are you going to work? No, you're not. Do you have to have the base on as a safety thing? Uh-oh. Let me just check the fuse in here. Fuse is okay. I was just expecting that to work. Annoyingly, I bought it so long ago now, I don't think they're going to take it back if it's a faulty mainboard. Because I bought it so shortly after the attempted repair, I just never got round to doing it. No, I'm going to plug in a base just in case it is something to do with the base needs to be plugged in as well. Well, this is worrying. I've got the stand on it now, it's still not working, and I've tried the upstairs one, which is in my son's room, and without the stand it works fine. Right, I'm going to take it apart again just in case there's something obvious that I missed. Right, this is interesting. I got my son's one down because rather than spend hours fault finding, I just process of elimination swap things over. So basically, if I put this motor, because this is all working fine, you can see if I turn it on here, you'll be able to hear it. Yeah? Obviously this one is unplugged at the moment. So if I put this motor on here and the good motor on here, this one is still completely dead. Interestingly, this one comes up with an F2 error code. It tries to start up for a split second and then stops. So that says to me that this is faulty and the replacement board is faulty. But then I thought, well, there's a chance it could be this front board here. So I swapped front boards over and the same thing. Everything is working on this, even with the front board, this is not working. So it looks like the original one on eBay, how unlucky is this? Had a faulty one of these and a faulty motor. So in hindsight now, what's probably happened is the motor must have seized up or something, maybe drew too much current and then blew up this board. But the weird thing is, I've bought a replacement board and it's not working. You'd expect this to come up with the F2 error code. This is completely blank down here. Nothing's happening at all. And it says Dyson here. It looks like proper packaging. You know, that doesn't look like cheap fake packaging. And also I bought it from a reputable place called eSpares in the UK. So it looks like I've just bought a dead board. Unless, of course, this chip here needs programming via the programming port at the bottom. But would you know what? Maybe if it's just for Dyson repair people, maybe they've got access to the programming. I'll have to speak to eSpares to see what they say. I would have thought that if you've bought a Dyson genuine component, that it would just fit and work straight away. Right, I'm jumping in from the next day now, and I looked online and there's no information about whether or not these need programming for them to work. I presume they're too new. These sort of fans will be going back to Dyson under guarantee. So yeah, I still don't know whether or not it needs reprogramming. But saying that, you would think it would say on the eSpares website if it does need programming. If it said this will need to be programmed before it would work, I wouldn't have bought it. You can be sure if you were to buy something like this from eBay that, well, it was either coming out of a working fan, in which case then it's going to work, but if it was a new board, the seller would say that because they don't want to have to pay for returns if they're a business seller. So then it would clearly say, do not buy unless you understand that these need to be programmed before they will work. So I'm sort of thinking I'm not really to blame here. The only thing I've done wrong is opened it up way too late. Now, I didn't know when I bought it, but I contacted eSpares and I was put through to the online chat, and basically I started off by saying, is it too late to get a refund or a replacement? I bought this quite a while ago and it's faulty. And then they took all my details and they said, you bought it in December 2022, which is 6 months ago, and they said yes, it's too late. And then I was like, oh, I was typing out, well, what's the solution here? I have bought something which is faulty. The only thing I've done wrong is open it up too late. And then it said, we haven't heard from you in a while, and boom, cut the chat. And I thought, that's a bit annoying. So I was just going to leave it at that, but then I thought, no, I'm going to check out the terms and conditions of this website, because it doesn't seem right. In the UK, normally you buy something new from a business, you have 12 months guarantee that it will work. So it clearly says under the terms and conditions that 40 goods will be guaranteed for 12 months and you can get a replacement or a repair. So then I went back to the same customer service agent again. They were speaking to me as if they'd never heard from me before, but I think that was AI I was speaking to. And then after about 4 or 5 messages back and forth, I then think I was put through to the real person. And it was completely different because I said, are your products not guaranteed for 12 months? And then it was so different. From going from yes, it's too late, then it went to yes, you can have a replacement or a refund. And I went for a replacement, but then they said it's not in stock. Then they said they didn't know when the ETA was, estimated time of arrival, when it's coming in. So I said, well, I'll go for a refund, and they're going to email me through all the information. Hopefully they will email me it through. But it just shows you, if I'd given up first of all, then I would be just stuck with this product here. But by going back with more info, all of a sudden, they know that you now know your rights and you get a refund. A bit sneaky that. I prefer companies just to let me know my rights to begin with, rather than trying to get away with something. So I'm not saying that was eSpares, but their agent there, personally, I wasn't happy with at all. But anyway, bottom line is I should be getting a refund for it. Now, if you know that there's a little like flash chip or something in here that I can swap over, not the main brains because that's faulty on my other one, but if there is a little flash chip or something, then I would be happy not to return this one and just swap the chip over from my other one to this one here, if it meant I could get it working. Because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I just want really a working board, which is what I paid for. So yeah, if you've got any info on it yourself, let me know down in the comments section. And you never know, it can be a revisit video on it. Anyway, let's forget about this Dyson fan. Wasted too much time on it already. Let's move on to the Philips Air Purifier and let's see if we can have more luck with that. Who remembers my Philips Air Purifier that I fixed up in a previous video? An expensive bit of kit, over £400, and it was faulty all because of just one capacitor. Now, in that particular video, I undone a Wi-Fi board because when I undone the Wi-Fi board, it started to work. The reason it started to work is because it was so borderline of working that if you unplug something from it, it started to work, but not properly. It would kind of like boot loop. It was all down to the capacitor, but initially I thought it was a Wi-Fi board that was faulty, so I had to end up taking it out, and I ended up breaking it in trying to fix it. So this video is going to be about trying to get Wi-Fi back into this because I've managed to get 2 new boards from China. So let's bring them over to the blue mat, and I need to explain what I need to do to the boards before I can fit them in here. Okay, here they are here. There's 2 of them. They cost roughly around £4 something for both of them, so under £5 UK pounds, so very reasonable. At the time of the video, because I did the video about 5 or 6 months ago now, I did order them up because I got various different messages and emails telling me which chips to buy, and it was one of those things where it just wasn't dispatched for ages, and then I think, yeah, it just didn't get dispatched after about 3 weeks. And then I had to get in touch with AliExpress and they seen there was no tracking number and just refunded me. Anyway, I thought, well, why does a seller waste people's time by listing stuff that they don't have? But then I looked again recently and the same seller still had them for sale. So I thought, I'll take the risk again. What's the worst case that's going to happen? I'll just get a refund. And anyway, sure enough, they arrived this time. So I don't know what's happened there. But anyway, apparently a lot of people said, Vince, you can't just fit it because this is going to be programmed to the Philips air purifier. So this is the faulty one here. I've messed this one up completely because all the capacitors and resistors went flying off around here. They're absolutely tiny, the size of my finger compared to the size of the, you know, not just a chip, we're talking about the capacitors and resistors around that chip. But what a couple of people said, I'll flash their names up on screen, is that if I was to take out this chip here, this is the thing that holds the SPI flash. This is the SPI flash chip, so this is the thing that's got the programming in it. So if I was to transfer this onto here, or here, I've got two to play with, then it should work. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some heat, I'm going to take off this cover, I'm going to take off the chip, I'm going to take this off with low melt solder because I don't want to heat near this, and then I'm going to put this back on with a soldering iron. I'm happy to take this one off with the with just the hot air. And also we need to take it off the board here. I was thinking it looks a bit messy, but this is just a board it's stuck to. This will then need to get soldered on to the actual Philips air purifier. And we'll see if it works, you never know. Let's give it a go. Right, let's take this one off to begin with. I'm just going to zoom in and take a picture on my phone so I know which way it goes back on. Right, I don't need to take a picture because you can clearly see that there's a dot in the corner of the chip there, and there's a dot here as well. So let's pop this one off with some low melt solder. The reason I'm using low melt solder is because I don't really want heat anywhere near here, just in case it loses the memory. How good is low melt solder? I'm such a fan of it. Right, now, let's get the hot air on this one. And let's try to take this cover off. Right, I can see it's starting to turn shiny. There we go, it's lifting up now. So I've got to be careful because I don't want to knock the chips underneath it. There we go. Now I might as well take this chip off as well while we're here. That's off. And now I actually need to take the whole board off, but I might use low melt solder for this. Oh, it's held on here and here. Okay. There's, I didn't realise there was little wires holding it on here and here. Right, I'm going to clean it up with some braid. Okay, I'm going to pop some gloves on and give it a nice good clean with some isopropyl alcohol. In fact, before I do that, I might as well clean up this chip here and get the chip back on. Right, let's just dunk the chip in the isopropyl, get it nice and clean, and also I'm just going to clean under the chip here as well. Right, so I've got some leaded solder to pop this back on, and at this moment in time I'm just going to do the bottom corner here. Let's solder this up. And now let's clean it all up. Right, when I was trying to get this away from the other board, because I didn't realise it was soldered on these annoying wires, there's still the remains of the wire there. I have scraped it here, but it doesn't look like it's gone through. I'm going to just get a little bit of nail varnish for that. I'm just going to dry it up first. Right, so that's it done there now. All looks nice again. I'm going to put the lid back on, solder the lid back into place. Right, these have loads of little holes in actually, so they've got to go through different, these little dots on the board here. I'm going to try to do it with a soldering iron. Right, so I'm going to let that dry and then I'm going to pop it back into the Philips Air Purifier. So all the screws are undone, and then you just have to get a pry tool in and pop it up around the edge. Like so. Let me just show you these ribbon cables. Obviously I'm unplugged, yeah, because you have got mains voltage coming in here. Right, and that will give you access then to lift this out here, and you just have to undo some ribbon cables. You just pinch to undo. And I think that's all I need to undo. Yeah, just a one ribbon cable, because I've got access to this now. This is the little board that I need to undo here. Right, so I've undone the screw and this is the board here. Obviously the original board would have been soldered on here. A couple of missing pads, that's not a problem because they're not going anywhere anyway. It has popcorned up here, but again, it's going to be okay because it's just a single layer board. So yeah, it's fine. The tracks are still going to be intact. In fact, there's very few, there's only two little tracks used on that side there. So that will be fine. But I do need to get this out here, so I'm going to have to, it's a bit fiddly, but basically there's another little tab that I can press just in here to take out this ribbon cable. It's just locked into place on this top board here. We're free. Let's go solder on the new board. I'm just getting it all lined up. Now, because of the popcorning, I'm going to have to press down quite hard. Let me just load my iron up with some solder. See if I can get a couple of contacts done. Oh, that's nice. You see the way that went up through that hole there? Watch this one. Although I'm doing it here, can you see the solder gets sucked up through the hole? So you know it's gone right the way through. Watch this. There you go, you see the solder? Right, there you have it, and you can see that the joints are all nice up right the way from this board onto the blue board. And all the caps and resistors and everything are still intact everywhere. They're absolutely tiny, and that's the problem I had before. So from this voltage regulator, it goes down to this side of the capacitor, to the first pin there and to there, and then from the middle leg it goes to that side of the cap, to that solder joint, to the second pin along there. And even though it's all bubbled up here, you can see the traces are all fine. So let's pop it in and see if we now have Wi-Fi. Right, it says here to reset the Wi-Fi connection, you've got to touch that and that for 3 seconds till you hear a beep. The air purifier goes into pairing mode and the Wi-Fi indicator blinks orange. Let's try that now. So we've got to do these two. 1 and 2 and 3. Excellent. Woohoo! Looks like we have Wi-Fi. Right, let me download the app and get it connected to my phone. Right, if you have a look here, the Wi-Fi symbol has gone to the solid symbol and it says I am now connected. Congratulations, you can now control your air purifier remotely. Check this out. If I go to turbo, it will change it up here. Oh, sorry, apply. There you go. I just changed it here and you can now see the turbo symbols come up. You can hear it kicking in. And now if I go to here and go to auto mode and apply, it changes to there and it kicks down again. So I think the idea of this is that I can tell you what I think it can tell you what allergens and stuff there are, like pollen and stuff like that. But that just says what it is in the area, not what it is in my house. Let me have a little play around with this for a bit. Yeah, really, I don't know if this tells you any more than what the machine tells you already, but I suppose it saves you scrolling through the machine. You can see it all here, and if you were to tap on it, if you wanted to monitor the air, you can do it weekly, monthly and yearly as well. So yeah, I suppose if you're into that sort of stuff, then it would be good. For me, I just want it to get rid of cooking smells, and hopefully as the pollen kicks up, then it might help out with the hay fever and stuff. Well, there we have it, Wi-Fi up and running. Shame that the app doesn't really do much. I thought it'd be able to tell you different pollen and stuff like that, so I can't see myself ever using it because I don't see the need for it, when really you can find out what you need to know from here by just cycling through the different ones here. So yeah, but it is what it is. At least it's back working as it was from the factory. And last but certainly not least, we have this Ride-On Suitcase here, the air wheel. Let's see why this is only charging to 50%. Now, do you remember I had a problem, well, numerous problems with it, but basically the end problem was that I could only ever get it to charge up to this level here. It wouldn't go past 50%. Yeah. Now, interesting comments came through yet again, but one of them, well, loads of people said this, but it really makes sense. They're saying one of the cells must be above the other ones, and what's happening is when the power supply recognizes, or the battery management system on the board here, when it recognizes that one cell is up to 2 volts, then it will cut off the whole power supply, even if the other cells are not there. So now check this out. If I go across them, they're all measuring 3.6 volts. Don't worry about positive and negative, you can see 3.6. I can't believe I didn't spot this. 3.6, 3.6. Take my word for it that the other one's on the other side of 3.6. Now look what we have here. 4.1. So that's why it's doing its job. It's cutting it off because this cell's getting to 4.1. And of course, this is the cell that I replaced. So yes, schoolboy error there. So what I'm doing is I've got a LED. I bought some LEDs on eBay thinking that they were going to be normal size, and these big bulbous ones came through. But I've got a little resistor in series here, a little 180 ohm resistor. So hopefully it won't burn out the LED, because although the voltage is probably okay, this can dump a whole load of current very quickly, can't it? So if you have a look here, 4.153 is slowly draining. There you go, 4.152. Let me just fast forward through this bit now. In fact, it's just changed, so let's time it on my watch. Let's see how long it takes to get down to 4.151. There we go. So it took about 15 seconds or so. So yeah, you can see it's going to be a long time to get down to 3.6, but once we get down to 3.6, so hopefully I'll make it the same as the others. What are they all? 3.6. See, they're all pretty much 3.63 or thereabouts, aren't they? Yeah, so they're all very balanced. So I'm going to get this one down to 3.63. It means I have to keep an eye on it. But you know what I could do is if I drain it too much, I could always add voltage just into this one here. So yeah, it'd be fine. Right, I had to give up on the LED idea because it was just taking forever to drain. So I've just used one of these. These are like special little chargers that take the 18650s. This was sent over by Marcel years ago. And I've just plugged in that there and an Anker power bank. So I can monitor it now. Drawing 0.4 of an amp at 5 volts. It should start to drain a lot quicker. Right, check this out. So this one here, 3.635. Now this one, 3.63. Right, let's unplug that. So now, if we put this back together, I wonder will we get a better charge out of it. In fact, what's it showing now? Yeah, see, it's still midway there. Well, I'm really interested now to see whether it will charge up more, because now it's going to be balanced, because it's not going to turn itself off when, you know, just one of them, well, one of them ain't going to charge quicker than the others. So, yeah, interesting. Right, so I'm going to put this back together, do the screws up, and then charge it with the proper power supply, and see if it can go to 100%. Right, check this out. The charger is still on red here. I can feel a bit of heat being generated on the charger, but not the battery pack itself. So we're still on red. It's been charging for around about half an hour. And look, I've got all green lights. Fantastic. But I want to wait to see if it goes to green, because that will mean this is fully charged. But wow, it just shows you there's some really intelligent people out there. So many thanks to everybody that commented on that video. And you were completely correct. It's because one cell was much more charged than all the others. So as soon as that reached 4.2 volts, this turned itself off, or this told this to turn itself off. So it was doing what a battery management system should do. Fantastic. Anyway, I want to see if it goes to green on here. We've got a green light and it's showing fully charged. What a result. How good is that? Fantastic. Right, let's plug it in and finish up the video. Yay, we're off again. That's so good. I mean, it still can't be used on an aeroplane, but for learning, that's fantastic. Hopefully now I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that. I thought that the battery management system would have balanced the cells, but obviously they need to be balanced in the first place. So yeah, vitally important. Now, throughout this video here, I have flashed up a few names. Please don't be disappointed if you weren't flashed up. It's just a random thing. For example, on the battery management system, there probably was about 50 comments or more that suggested that. So I can't, the whole video will just be a scrolling list of names. So yeah, it's just randomly selected. There's no favoritism or anything there. So a massive, massive thank you if you have commented on any of my videos, because even if I don't do a revisit video, there's still learning to be done. I can't always revisit on everything. Some things are unfixable, or, you know, I might not be able to get spares, etc., stuff like that. So yeah, massive thank you to everybody that has helped out on these videos throughout the numerous years. Let me just try to maneuver through here. Check out that keyboard, isn't that beautiful? If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. So yeah, that's it. Massive thank you to everybody. Take care, and I will see you hopefully in another Fix It video very soon. Look after yourselves.